just wanted to do a short little thing with you and just ask you maybe to share some things that have been on your heart and mind in these past
Mm.
few weeks where we've experienced kind of this unprecedented isolation, for obviously for health reasons, et cetera. And in a lot of states now, it's becoming a legislative one as well. But
Yeah.
just what's going on in your heart and mind?
Well, at first, I was a little skeptical
Mm,
of some of the response, and but I began to, I was writing about this for about 3 weeks, so 2 weeks, at least a week before it really started becoming something people were talking about generally,
right.
because I was starting to think about, well, how would this impact us as a community? And some people were like, "Why are you even, writing about this? And maybe you're taking this too seriously."
Mm,
Um, and then, when they started saying, "Well, we're going to, shut things down," I was a little skeptical in terms of, are we going to do more damage, right? To everything than maybe this virus is going to do, And that was before we started seeing, Italy and some of these other things.
right.
So, um, but my children, they were taking things pretty seriously. And so, going back now almost 10, 12 days ago, they were like, let's stay home. And so we've been isolating, and we did our service online entirely last Sunday. We plan to do that for several Sundays going forward. We've never done anything like that, so there was a big ramp up to learning
Right.
or trying to do that, and then um, we've been trying to figure out, like, how do we do community, in this. And one of the ways, we've been putting some of our gatherings on Zoom. We've been broadcasting things on Facebook. The family here have been doing Compline every evening. It's a Facebook Live, and with Harrison on the piano, and both is for our community, but other people that are friends of ours on social media, and some of our Lectio studies and things we brought online. So, but it hasn't really seemed until maybe today to be a different pace, because there was so much to think about and so much to ponder and try to figure out how we were going to continue to do what we do
Mm,
together in isolation from each other,
right.
in terms of the church body. But starting to settle into that. Just thoughts that I've had is, this is a major opportunity that's been presented to us. I'm really stunned that all the societies of the world are like prioritizing our seniors and our vulnerable in this way. And I think it goes to the commandment to honor our parents. So I mean, I'm not sure people are thinking about it in that way, but I think it's important that we celebrate that that's what's happening, that the sacrifices are being made, because we're not going to say, well, anything can happen to them. It's okay. They're at the end of their life,
Yeah.
or they're vulnerable people. So we're almost like closet eugenicists, but we seem to be rejecting that in lots of quarters, not everywhere, but most people are saying, no, let's take care of our elders, which is really, I think, beautiful.
It is.
Another thing is, like, for a society that is like really doesn't take Sabbath and doesn't slow down, and I preach to the choir here, that we keep our schedules, completely full, and we're always going. We feel like we have to prove ourselves with our productivity and everything, and to recognize that, in the creation, God rests, in the human flesh of Jesus, God rests, and it's okay to stop and slow down, and to take some time. And so we're all being forced to take Sabbath. The culture that doesn't take Sabbath is being forced to take Sabbath. And in the Sabbath, lately I've been thinking, a lot of people are probably like, most of what I think about is like how I'm dealing with myself. Like, okay, when is this going to be over so we can, get back to normal? But now I'm starting to think, uh, do we want to go back, you know, to that normal, or are we going to be able to? You know, are we kind of moving into a season where we have this particular virus or some other pandemics force us to change the way we're existing, both globally and nationally and in our local communities and so forth? And it seems to me that we need to, like, I think disease, any kind of, this is an enemy of humankind made in the image of God. It's a darkness. It doesn't come from God. But that when we have a crisis like this, and death is trying to knock at so many people's doors and create havoc through this virus, the powers are trying to war against the image of God and humanity. God can step in. God does step into these times with, like, things he's wanting to say to us. The Spirit of God is trying to speak to us, and I think some of the things that he might try to teach us in the midst of an evil that he doesn't bring, but that, like, God is always trying to bring good out of darkness.
Right.
He could be saying to us, maybe it would be good if, until we've converted and learned the lessons of whatever this is that we're sitting through and being isolated in, what are the lessons that we're supposed to be learning in the process? And I'm thinking of, like, you know, maybe 24/7 stores with their lights on all the time. Do we need those? You know, do we need these global supply chains? And maybe we should, you know, like Wendell Berry and many people say, you know, maybe we should be shopping more locally, buying more locally. You know, maybe we should not have our schedules, like, so blocked, especially with our children or whatever we're doing, running around all the time. You know, what is really, what are we going to prioritize? What is really necessary? What's really important? And I think it's a good time to assess all of that, to start to maybe develop some practices that help us discern and prioritize what's really essential to life, our relationships, and and also to think just about, like, the one humanity that we all share. This is maybe the first time in history that, like, the entire globe is affected by a crisis,
Hmm.
in the sense that we're all aware of it. And pandemic, the 1918 pandemic, is probably an example of this. It not probably was an example of this, but not with a sense of awareness that we have of what's happening
Right.
all over the world. And so we, but it helps us to recognize that we're all connected. It breaks down the borders and all these differences of, you know, race the virus doesn't recognize these things. So it is an enemy of humanity.
Right.
And so not just Americans or Chinese or Italians or Iranians or whatever. So
Or
maybe we
Buddhists or
should,
Christians or Jewish or whatever.
yeah. And I don't even know how long I've been going, but the point is that I have a lot of the point is I have a lot of thoughts about
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
those are some of them.
That's awesome. I think okay. I think that the opportunity is present to so many of us to think about how this has changed the way we're living, and to think through, okay, what, because a lot of people are looking at, like, I can't wait to get back to, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, do I really need to get back to that?
Yeah,
Maybe I should hold on to this. So
yeah,
what from this should I hold on to, and what from this should I let go? Or what from my former life a month ago should I hold on to or let go? You know, those are great questions, and we have the opportunity to do that. And
we're slowed down enough to be able to do that. And the person who got me really thinking about this was Eugene Peterson's son, Eric. I was talking Eric Peterson yesterday in Spokane, and you know, he was like, you know, everybody's talking about, like, what's, you know, let's get back to normal.
yeah,
And you know, do we want to get back to
yeah,
normal? Is that a good idea? And so thinking it's an opportunity right now. So I'm always interested in what are the opportunities that a crisis presents us with. Not that I'm always the, you know, like, the best, you know, implementer of like whatever ideas, but it does make me think like, what do we need to do differently? And
Yeah, an
so that's what
opportunity to reset normal.
yeah, and so that's what I'm trying to. And I mean, like, right, physically, whatever you're doing with your health is also like, what are your practices that help you be in communion with God? What are your practices that help you be in communion with the earth? What are your practices that help you be in communion with your spouse? What are your practices that make it possible for you to be in communion with your family and so forth? And we all need to think about those things. And but this all the time we should be pondering that. But this gives us a very concentrated time of Sabbath and to do a reset.
Yeah.
And if we could do a reset on a large scale about some things, think about the savings. I mean, just one idea: shut these 24/7 stores down and see how much energy we would save. You know, who needs to go to the market at 2 o'clock in the morning? Who needs to go to the market? You know, at 5 o'clock in the morning. So yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome. Thanks. So I'm gonna throw 10 questions or words at you, and for the people that are going to watch this in the future at some point, you don't know what they are. So this is off the cuff completely.
Sure.
All right. And if the best you
I'm game. I'm
good,
game.
good. The best you can, give me a one-word response. Okay?
A one-word response. Holy.
One-word response.
Okay.
The last one I'll
Word.
give you a
Holy.
little leeway. All right.
Okay.
Social distancing.
Hard.
COVID-19.
Enemy.
Favorite thing you've done since living sheltered.
Look at things. That's not a good word, but yeah. Notice.
Okay. More observant. What's your go-to activity?
My go-to activity is reading. Read. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That segues to the next question. What are you reading? Just one.
Uh, Theology.
Okay, you got to give me a name and a book.
Oh, yeah. John Bear.
Okay. Which one?
Yeah.
Which one?
Becoming Human.
Okay. All right. Trump.
That's a trick question.
It's not a trick question.
Perplexity.
Okay. Favorite snack.
Oh, popcorn.
Favorite healthy snack. Popcorn. No,
Pistachios.
can't say
Are
popcorn.
pistachios healthy? I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Current project.
The current project is just community.
Okay. Least favorite thing about social distancing.
Lack of um, it's just hard to express in one word, but um, freedom.
Okay. All right. This one I'll give you some more leeway on. Word of advice or wisdom, something maybe that you've done that's been encouraging for you or helpful, brought life to you, your family. Doesn't have to be, whatever.
Contemplation.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.